Good morning, everyone. So, URL 101. This is like an odd topic, I guess, but I think these are super important things to know about what I'm referring to as your web equity. So, let's start the show. Good morning, everyone. So, web equity. Why is your URL important? I know that you guys probably know the basics, but I really wanted to share today because I literally have gotten the third client this week and who are dealing with some of these really major issues that now that we're in COVID can really affect you and your digital space and the work that you've put into your website up to this point is so important. So my name is Paula Madison Sierra. I'm the host of 10 at 10 and the founder of Power Marketing SF, an offsite marketing department here in San Francisco. So this is our marketing moment today. Your URL, of course, another name for your domain name, that little area right on the top section of your website in the search area. I wanted to go into some food for thought here to hopefully help you to protect yourself and to keep yourself away from the problems that I'm literally seeing my clients going through right now. Like I said, three in a row. So I know if I'm seeing three in a row, many of you may be going through the same situations as well. So let's avoid it. Let's discuss. So tip one, of course, is the obvious and simplest one, is let's ensure that your email account for your hosting company, that you're using an email that is active. When I say active, it's something that you're seeing the notifications on and can quickly respond to it. It sounds like a very simple thing, but I'm always surprised at how many business owners don't really have an email that's being actively used. Maybe you used an email when you first started your business way back when, but now it's just an email that you tap into every now and again. We want to make sure that you are actively seeing the notifications coming from the hosting company. If there's a credit card expiration date that needs to be updated, or you need to just simply use a new credit card for that renewal, they will notify you. They'll also notify you, I think, about 3 months, 6 months in advance that you are about to renew. So let's ensure that you are at least getting those notifications so that you can quickly renew and keep your URL. Again, told you this was a very simple one, but again, business owners, we are busy. We're doing stuff, and sometimes this logical step completely, we ignore it because we're busy, and also because that email many times is an email that we are not actively checking anymore. So tip number two, your domain or your URL. Let's just understand the relationship between yourself and the hosting company or your registrar. They could be the same company. The relationship between yourself and the hosting company, or maybe it's a separate registration company. Many times they're the same, hosting and registration. This is a renting relationship, guys. Your hosting company and yourself are in a renting relationship. So you will have to renew after the agreed period of time that you are parking it on their hosting company. And yes, you will have to pay again. Tip number three, if you happen to miss the notifications, it happens. Your URL, let me explain, will go into the open market space, which means that it can be purchased by anyone. Yes, including your competition. And this does happen. Side note, when I say equity, as I've dropped it into the title, this is what I mean by equity. Equity literally means that over the period of time that you've had the the work that you put into the website, it's really become quite valuable. And so, because of that equity, and because it's already getting foot traffic, that work is really a fantastic thing for you. If your competition purchases it, this is valuable to them because now they're getting the traffic that was normally and very effortlessly coming to you. Now it's going to them, right? Because they could point it to their site. Let me give you a quick case study with that example. So if someone else purchases your URL or the domain name, there's not much that you could do about it. They have purchased it, the name, uh, perfectly fair and square. If they are in similar industries, they could point that URL to their current URL to gain the benefits of that foot traffic. They could also shelf it completely as a competition. And yes, this would be a loss to you as well. However, in the case of one of my clients, I told you there were 3 clients over the period of like within first quarter alone, who came to me with this problem. In the case of one of the clients, the competition actually begun using the name and referring to themselves as my client. I've never seen anything like that before. But yes, it can happen. And if you are in a very aggressive industry where it's kind of the Wild West, it could happen, like my client who's in the moving industry. And so that could happen there. Not saying that it's legal. It's completely illegal because they've begun to refer to themselves as my client as well. So I literally had to pick up the phone just to call I wanted to hear how they would answer. And they did indeed. They were answering as my client, which was hilarious. Like I said, I've never seen that. I've seen the competition actually purchasing the URL, either shelving it or pointing it to their own site, so they're gaining that benefit over you. But I've never seen this. If that happens to you, please do not wait. The longer you wait, the more of a problem it will become for you. So please reach out to an attorney for assistance. I am not an attorney, so I can't give you any legal advice here, but this is something that you need to speak to an attorney about pronto. Please do it now. And my final tip, if you are in this predicament, someone has taken your URL, your domain, your years of work. Yes, you're upset at yourself, you're upset at the web person, whoever made this happen. You need to get past it. We need to get back to business here. We need to get a name. So there are a couple of things that you could do. One, I told you about that equity, that web equity that you've built up over years of just simply owning it. My client, who is a mover, had his name for 25 years. Lot of great equity. They get a lot of foot traffic. Well, not foot traffic, digital foot traffic coming to the websites for quotes, for their recommending their friends back. He was getting a lot of that. So that's a lot of traction that website has. Um, and of course, the more work you actually put into your website as well, the more active that the search engines see that this name was, also makes it even more valuable. So because it is in the open market space, it will be expensive. I am not going to kid you. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it. This is what will happen. It will be expensive. It's going to be way more than you had purchased the name for at $34, whatever you paid for it per year. It could be anything. I mean, at the bottom end, I've seen 900. At the top end, one of my clients who had put a lot of work into, and they came back to us after we had worked on the site for so long, and they weren't a client anymore. And for them, that was 4,500. But I've seen up to 10,000 and more, again, depending on the industry, depending on the value of the URL. You could try to negotiate with whoever owns it and is in charge of it. Um, yeah, I say negotiate. What's the worst thing that can happen if you really want your site back? Your other option is to start all over again. I know no one wants to hear that. A new URL name. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to think of a new URL name. But let's break that down for a little bit and discuss it. My recommendation, please do not go for the .biz, .net, .co, .etc., etc., all of those new things that they have right now. .us, do not do it. I beg of you. Your marketers are pleading with you because they're very ineffective. The gold standard is still the .com. It just still is. We've been pre-programmed on a website, blah 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 .com. We're pre-programmed on it, and so to change that, it's going to be difficult. So here's some thoughts. A friend of mine and colleague, Jason Steinberg, Steinberg Imagery, had lost his URL during a web project with a very inexperienced web designer. Jason came to us for a solution, and we came up with a name because of the nature of his business. He's a photographer, videographer, storyteller, and the name of the company previously was SteinbergImagery.com. We suggested the alternative, which is GetSteinbergImagery.com. And that is perfectly viable, it's perfectly legal. The funny part is that the person who bought Steinberg Imagery still hasn't used it all these years. I don't get it. Why not give it up when the person reached out to you? I don't know why people buy URLs. So you may encounter a person like that as well. Again, he's not using it, but who knows? All right. So we suggested to Jason get SteinbergImagery.com, and that's what he purchased. One of the ones I love, um, and I'm not sure if it's because they had the same situation with not getting their name, or they were just super mindful of focusing on their customers' user experience. Sometimes you want to go there as well. It is ilovepeanutbutter.com. Oh my God, how amazing is that name? It's like a marketer's dream because we literally came up with a URL that is very in line with how the customer feels. Remember, it's how you want your customer to feel, how they're thinking. If they go to type something in, they can't figure out how to find you. What will they type in order to find you if they're trying to intuitively think about who you are, where you are, how to find you, maybe the industry? You could actually use that URL. It does not have to be your company's name, guys. It could be, getmortgages.com, I need a mortgage now.com. It could be something like that, right? I like cookies or something. I like greatcookies.com. And of course, when they get there, they'll see it's like Shirley's Cookies. So it does not have to be your company's name. It can also be something about your industry, how your client logically thinks of the service. If that's how they're logically thinking of the service in general, in an umbrella fashion, you're going to be getting more people than who's simply looking for just you alone or, organically. So that's my suggestion for today. Like I said, I've had 3 people who have been through this, so I know that there are more of you that this happens to. And some of you had to purchase your sites back at a really high rate. If the rate is just too high for you and you can't do it, here are some other options, because literally in COVID, we got to get back to business. We don't have time to sit and kind of, and cry about this. I was going to say diaper baby cry, but I didn't want to insult you guys anyway. So, guys, keep on moving forward. I hope these were helpful to you. If you guys are looking for marketing, if you're in the same situation, reach out to us. Let us help you come up with a new name. We can, for a small consultation fee, We can literally come up with a name for you and brainstorm, do some research about your industry, and get it done. My continued mission, as always, is to introduce you to either everyday experts or to share marketing advice and tips and little intuitive things that I'm realizing that my business owners may not know in their marketing days. The whole point of this is to up-level you and to keep you moving forward. 10 at 10, here's every Thursday at 10 a.m. live on LinkedIn. Thank you, viewers. You continue to amaze me. Stay strong during this period. Um, and as always, keep moving forward. I don't have a quote today, but the word that I've been using actually this entire quarter, and it may roll out to the rest of the year. And I say you can use it as well. It's resilient. Things are going to happen. We're going to have to sit, take a breath for a little bit, brush ourselves off, and get up. So at all times, I guess that's my quote to you for the day. Get up and keep moving forward. Take care, guys. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Bye.